Hello and welcome to my channel, Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph. I am going to talk about something. Let me put it like this. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson and Melanie King because I didn't know anything about this until I happened to see their reactions on my timeline. So here's the thing. Kendra G, who I understand is a radio personality and also has a does a dating show, if you will, on her IG. So yesterday, in addition to talking to a young lady about trying to, set up on a date or something like that, she was just also had to what I consider grow her reel. Meaning, okay, let's be clear about let's get down to brass tacks. Let's stop playing games. So she had to grow her reel. But apparently, women in the chat had a problem with it. So I guess Kendra G's like, enough already. You are women so sensitive that you can't have real conversations, and she was like, done with it. So it caused me to think about, okay, now let's look back over this last year, if you will. We got a Iyanla Vanzant who said, I can't, I'm done. And it's really, you know, it really wasn't even the men that were giving her the biggest issue. It was the women. So we got a Iyanla Vanzant. Then we have Rebecca Lynn Pope, who was a matchmaker, said, I can't. The women just too difficult. Just, these unrealistic expectations, sense of entitlement, wanting, just delusional. I'm paraphrasing. Enough. I can't. Then you have April Mason, femininity coach, trying to help women to realize the things that they want for their lives, as far as, finding a man, etc. I can't, I'm done. Now you have Kendra G. It's like, enough already. All four of these women are black. Let's take it a step further, shall we? A couple of weeks ago, Tashina Arnold asked a question. How can we help, aid in not emasculating our men? Firestorm, a dragon, a dragging, okay? Cam Newton talked about, okay, the difference between a boss bee and a woman. Instead of focusing on what he said and the realness of what he said, he ain't this, he ain't that. I'll even go a step further because y'all know sometimes I can get what Kevin's saying, sometimes I can't. But the crux of what he says, he is telling the truth. I don't like that he makes fun of people. I don't like all that stuff. But hey, what he's saying, there's some truth to it. So it goes to a video that I did in response to Tashina Arnold and Cam Newton asking, can nobody tell us women nothing? Specifically black women, we can't be critiqued. We can't be offered any constructive redirection. Because if we are, we're too hard, we're too cruel, we're too insensitive. Is this what it's come to? Is this what it has come to? So what I'm gonna do, I was just gonna react to the segment that O'Shea and O'Shea and Melanie King did, but I think after looking at parts of the video with the interview with this lady, I think I want to talk about it all. So let's.
Hello.
Hello,
What's your name, baby?
Tara.
How old are you?
I'll be 32 on the 26th.
Oh, okay. You look a little younger. This is Tara, 32 on the 26th of April.
Yes, I'm a
So
Taurus.
you're a Taurus. So let's just say you're 32. Tara, you have any kids?
Yes, I do. Me and my daughter was just watching a show. She's like, she finally picked you. I'm not camera ready.
You what's the
Yes, I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
You have okay. You said your daughter. You have one child,
I have two. I have a 6-year-old, and my oldest will be 12 in July.
a 6-year-old, and 12. Same mom. I mean, excuse me, same dad.
Yes.
Same dad. Why you guys not together?
It was a bit of abusive relationship.
Sorry
Yeah,
to hear
I
that. Well, I'm
just
happy you got out of that. Okay.
yeah expanding my beautifully independent wings. I love it. It's great.
All right. This is Tara. Where you calling us from?
Philly.
Billy in the building. What do you do for a living?
I'm a cashier at Hip City Veg. It's a vegan restaurant down here. It's pretty big down here.
Okay. Cashier at a vegan restaurant. This is Tara, who's a tourist, 32, two kids, 6 and 12, in Philly, and a cashier. Let's get into it, Tara. What kind of man you looking for?
Somebody that's really honest. I've been known to be open to, just open minded in the past, but a lot of people don't like to just be totally honest. So I really want that. I want somebody mature, somebody that likes to laugh, somebody with their stuff together. It's not a whole lot of that around here. Um, Somebody that's just nurturing. You don't find a lot of, motherly raised men anymore. I like the down south kind of feel of everything. So yeah, that's really important to me. Family
Okay.
or
You want a motherly raised man, a down south type of man. You're
mhm.
calling us from Philly. Are you from down south or are you live in Philly? Were you raised in Philly?
No, actually, my mom had us pretty well rounded. She kind of lived here and there, so we used to live down south a little bit. I was born in Jersey. I'm actually from York, Pennsylvania, which a lot of people don't know about. So I've been everywhere.
Okay. All right, let's keep going. What are some deal breakers besides not being raised by your mama?
A liar. I don't like liars. Narcissist, anybody that's about themselves. I want a man that knows how to, raise a family and raise a business.
Okay, it must have been I was raised a family and a business. This is Tara. She's a tourist, 32.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna wait.
She has two children, 6 and 12. Do you want more kids?
Probably not.
So the guy has to already have kids.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind. Does he have to be in Philly?
It would be preferable. Doesn't have to be, but it would be preferable.
Okay, we'd like you to be in Philly. What's the age range you want to do?
Mm, I say probably 35 to 45.
35 to 45. Do you have on a shirt? They keep asking me, where's your
Yeah,
shirt?
it's a like a tank top, tube top type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw something. So that's a tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. It's this was my 30th birthday present to myself.
Say
I got,
again?
I got this a couple years ago for my 30th birthday for myself.
Uh,
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop right there. Okay, so listen, tattoos. I have one. I'm 54. I got it when I was 30. I got it, interestingly enough, when my one of my girlfriends was turning 36, and she wanted to get her first tattoo, and she wanted us to get one together. So ideally, I was going to get one on the my what do you call it, shoulder blade. But when I went to get it, they said it's painful there. So I said, well, put it in the place that is the least painful. So they said so you see, I have one right here. The Chinese symbol for the word beauty. So what I hadn't considered, again, it's about being in the moment, y'all, okay, and not thinking ahead. I hadn't considered that because I got that tattoo in March. I hadn't considered the fact that I was scheduled to be in a wedding in May when my shoulders were gonna be out. Okay, and it was not going to be very becoming to have a tattoo, so I had to put makeup on it. When I was getting the tattoo, I wasn't thinking about that, and it took a different meaning just 2 months later, or would have given a different message 2 months later when I was a bridesmaid in a wedding. My point being, this tattoo that she has is all across her chest. When you are considering dating, mating, etc., you have to consider what man is going to be attracted to this. Okay? Surely not a more conservative man. Surely not. Because that's going to limit what you can wear. Now, if it don't bother you, it don't bother you. But I will submit, and I'm sharing this with you because she's 32. She was around, I got mine at 30. And I talked about, I'm telling you, I hadn't considered how it was going to affect me just 2 months later. Because I was going to be representing my friend at her wedding where her friends and family, and all those people were there. So again, if you're looking for a man to marry you and to, you know, what kind of man do you seek to attract? With this, okay? I'm just saying.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay, okay,
expensive.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all right. This is Tara. She's a tourist, 32. She has two kids, 6 and 12. She has on a shirt. They were
I
very concerned.
don't be. Would never do that.
So, was you married?
I was married in the past. Yes.
I missed that. Look, shout out to the people in the comments. Y'all reminded me of a lot of things I'm missing tonight. Okay, so you was married. Are you officially divorced?
It's in the process. I don't know if it's considered officially, but it's literally like
How do
done.
you know if it's? What do you mean you don't know
I
if it's?
the paperwork probably about a month ago, so it's basically like just I don't know. This is my first marriage, first divorce, but I've been legally separated for almost 7 years. So it's moved in another state the whole nine. It's
So
never
you've
gonna
been separated for 7 years, but just a.
Okay, here's a concern of mine. How do you not know if it's finalized? Because if I'm getting divorced, I want to know when it's going to be considered final. That's what I'm going to want. And the reason why I say that because I was divorced, and when I got the decree or the order, I can't remember what it was, divorce decree, I knew when it was, but also I kind of knew when I filed, that 6 months from the filing, if there was no, because we had no joint property, none, all that, I knew when it was going to be effective. But this is problematic for me. Let's continue.
A month ago, you tried to get officially divorced?
only because he left us here, and that's why I had to do my independent thing. He left us, and I never knew where he was. So he found out where I was living at because we hadn't talked.
Okay, another thing. Too many words are going on here. Too many. Women, we talk too much. The facts. The old school detective show Dragnet. He said, I forget the detective's name, but he said, give me the facts, just the facts. Too much going on here. Too many words.
Already for 4 years, and then found out where I lived, and then started the process. So I had to wait for him to start the process because I didn't care to know where he was. So it just got situated.
So what happened a month ago that made you start the paperwork?
No, no, no. The paperwork wasn't started a month ago. The paperwork was started about a year and a half ago. The paperwork was just finished about a month, maybe a month and a half ago. Finished.
So I mean, I don't know how this works either, to be honest.
Oh,
So
I
do
know.
they? So do they send you a letter and say you're officially divorced? Like, how does that work?
Well, basically, I I have a lawyer who just handles that, and she kind of just tells me everything. And then they do send you paperwork, but that's all like buried away and stuff. You know what I mean? They fax that person who's my lawyer, then they're the husband's lawyer,
So
and
is it
then
fair? Is it fair enough to say that you're probably still legally married?
no,
Yes,
definitely not.
yes.
So you just told me, but you just told me you're not sure if it's you're officially divorced.
No, I know. The
No,
paperwork's
you
just
don't.
been wrapped up. That's what I was explaining to you. It's wrapped up. It's officially a divorce situation conclusion, but the I was telling you that the paperwork started about a year and a half ago because I didn't know where he was.
Okay, but you also said you're not sure because you started the paperwork a month ago.
I was only saying that I'm not sure because I've never been divorced, so I don't know if there's anything else, but I haven't received anything for like a month and a half, so I'm assuming that that was the conclusion.
Wouldn't you want to know that? Wouldn't you want to know that definitively? Now, I can understand it may not be a big deal considering the fact that she said that they've been legally separated for 7 years. I can understand that. But since the process has been initiated, no matter when it was initiated, wouldn't you want to know the conclusion and be certain of that? I would.
Okay,
Because if
so
not, they
assumptions, but it's not
never.
a fact, but it's not a factual conclusion as of yet.
I
No.
mean, they told me it was done. They said because we didn't have any marital assets, we didn't have anything like that. It wasn't anything to split up. They were just like, "Well, have you been together?" We're like,
Do you see that there is some inconsistency in what she is saying? Do you see this? Okay, listen. I'm not going to say no judgment because it is a judgment, but there's no condemnation here. There is a judgment because judgment means what? To assess and evaluate when you are competing in the Olympics. You have what? Judges who assess your performance. I'm assessing this performance, this conversation, so I am making a judgment. I'm assessing, determining, observing. There are some inconsistencies here. Let's continue.
"No." They were just like, "Well, here's the paperwork."
Okay, and you said it took 7 years to get into it because you didn't know where he was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. So Tara, now that I know that, I got to go back to some things that you said.
Hmm.
So, what were the requirements again you want from a guy?
Honesty.
So, were you
Look,
honest the last 7 years as you was dating with every guy that you were still legally?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. I'm one of them people that
Okay, let me tell you something. Here's another thing, ladies. I could be wrong, but I am assuming that Kendra was asking, have you been honest in the last 7 years? Meaning, did you communicate with whomever you were dating that you were still legally married? That's what I'm assuming. Now, there could have been even more that she was asking, but before Kendra could really get through, she said, absolutely. So, again, ladies, we must breathe, wait for pauses to ensure that the person has finished stating or asking the question before we assume that we can answer it. That's just my take on it.
I feel like it would just not make sense to lie about something because you're gonna end up, building up the lies. So I'm that person that's annoyingly transparent.
I would agree.
Like maybe speaks a little
To
bit too
agree.
honest,
To
kind
the
of
point.
telling yourself type of person. So I mean, I've always been honest. I just feel like it's just too messy not to be. So I'm an open book. Ask me, I'll tell.
got you. Okay, okay. And what was your deal breakers again?
Deal breakers, lying, narcissist. Like I said, my ex husband was abusive, so I don't want anybody that's just about themselves. Not worried about the family. Somebody that's not family oriented. I wouldn't want anything like that. So, you know,
Okay, let's continue. So, Tara, when was your last relationship?
probably about 2 years now.
2 years. So, you don't have to answer this question, but I'm gonna ask. When was the last time you was intimate with a guy?
Actually, I've been celibate since October.
Last year.
Yes.
Okay, so this decision of celibacy.
Okay, so I'm not really a math person. I'll tell you that now. However, based on what I just heard, even though her last relationship was roughly 2 years ago, she was having sex up until last, or had been in a sexual, had been intimate up until October. So I'm going to surmise that even though her last relationship was 2 years ago, being that she was intimate up until October, I'm going to guess that she was dating and hoping that something would have led to a relationship. I'm going to make that assumption. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm going to go with.
What is the goal? Is it into relationship, marriage?
Absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
one?
Particularly a relationship to begin with, but I haven't decided if I wanted to wait until marriage to do anything because this is my first celibacy journey. I'm still kind of trying to figure it all out, but I said plain as day. I said all I do is work and take care of my kids. I said if you can't be
Okay, look, again, too many words. The question was, as it relates to celibacy, are you wanting to remain celibate up until relationship and or marriage? That's a yes or no answer. That's a yes or no answer. If there was additional information needed, I'm sure she would ask that. The question was, or to the effect, how long do you plan to remain celibate up until a relationship and or marriage? Simple yes or no answer.
here for me at at my worst, and you can't have me at my best. So, I had to get on my feet a little bit. I said, you know what? They weren't here at me at my worst. They weren't here with me at my worst. So, I'm at my best now. I look a little, off the rails right now, but I'm at my best. So, I'm kind of just trying to take.
I'm not sure how I would take that. And again, words matter. Okay, not knowing what her worst was, she's saying that she's at her best now, and she's a cashier at whatever establishment. Well, I think it's great that she is based on what she just shared, she is moving in the right direction to establish herself to take care of herself and her kids. But I would submit to you, young lady, that should continue striving. And being a cashier, although it is providing income for you, that is not your best. So continue striving. Because the reason why I'm going to say that is because when your daughter is of a certain age, you're going to say, this is good, but you can do better. This is not your best. Because here's the thing, you say your 12-year-old daughter y'all were listening together. So your daughter's telling you, you're saying to your daughter, I'm at my best now. No, you're not, honey. Say, I'm moving in that direction. I'm getting better. I'm on this journey. But no, honey, you're not at your best right now.
Take a minute to sit in my best and then kind of figure me out. And then if it's meant to be, I'm a firm believer in signs. So, and about God giving you those signs and what's meant to be will come to you and those type of things. So I'm sitting here just kind of listening to what I need and what I want and working on my career and my kids. And if it comes, it comes. I can't say I haven't been looking, but I'm not pressed to put myself in a situation that might not be for me.
You should not be looking right now.
Okay. So, but ultimately, you're gonna be celibate until you're in a relationship.
Definitely until I'm in a committed relationship because I feel
Okay, again, answer the question that was asked. If additional information is needed, it will be requested. Come on. I'm not just talking about her. We do this. And again, the reason why I can point it out, I used to do it. And now, looking back through the lens from a 54-year-old perspective, too many words. Because men don't use that many words. They don't care. Just the facts.
Like a lot of guys nowadays only want sex, and once they get that, it's just like maybe not anything else. So I'm like, let me take that non-variable off the field and see what I get. You know what I mean? So far, I haven't got anything. So I'll wait.
Okay. Does the guy have to look a certain way, Tara?
Um, I love my tall chocolate brothers. I'm not gonna hold you. I really, really love just a man with a educational and ethic background. My youngest daughter's father is Nigerian. My oldest daughter's father is African American. I really loved everything that my youngest daughter's father could teach me. He spoke a lot of different languages and stuff, so it was kind of like school at home. So I didn't mind that. As far as looks, I really love a beautiful smile. I
So,
love
Tara, what is your ethnicity?
I'm Caucasian, but my father was Lithuanian. So I have a little bit of the knowledge of different, languages and stuff like that I really appreciate. Stuff like
So,
that.
black men only.
It can be Puerto Rican. I don't mind. I don't
Okay.
mind.
But
I'm not very.
your preference is black men.
Yeah, I would love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have to make a certain amount of money?
Um, Money is not everything, but I definitely want you to have enough to take care of yourself. Maybe some that we could go on like a yearly trip at the minimum. You know what I mean? But it does. He doesn't have to be loaded.
He has to be loaded. Does he have to be in Philly?
It would be preferable.
Okay. So this is Tara. She's a Taurus, 32, two children, 6 and 12. You say you don't want more kids, right?
No, not right now.
Okay, so the guy can't have kids. You're fine with that.
Yeah, he can.
Okay. Both of your kids have the same child's father, right?
Um, yes and no. So
Wait. Okay. What? Yes and no. It's yes or no. Wait a minute. What? 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 Okay, let's go.
so when before my husband and I got married, well, my ex husband and I got married, I left him because of the abusive situation. And then I started dating my younger child's father, and I got pregnant. And I
So
told my
pause. They don't
Yes.
have the same father then.
legally, my husband agreed to get married with me before we got before I
Okay,
had my.
let me ask this question directly because we're not going to do this, Tara, now.
But
Do both of the kids come from the same sperm?
no, no.
Okay. So, okay.
Okay, look. Come on now. It was not a hard question to answer.
Okay, so I understand there might be an adoption. So there's two different men. And again, shout outs to y'all in the comments because I missed that one too. Someone in the comments said that you changed that answer. I have to be very specific
Well,
and direct with these
my
questions.
daughter. That's why my youngest daughter's father was never ever in the picture.
But
But
Tara, that's fine. But you said you want a person that's honest. You
yes,
sat up here and you gave a bold faced lie. Tara, you have any kids?
yes, I do. Me and my daughter was just watching a show. She's like, she finally picked you. I'm not camera ready.
You pushed the request.
Yes, I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
You have okay. You said your daughter. You have one child,
I have two. I have a 6-year-old, and my oldest will be 12 in July.
a 6 year old, and 12. Same mom. I mean, excuse me, same dad.
Yes.
Same.
Not really,
They're not
because
by the
if
same man. Your children are not
if
by the same guy. That's not a factual statement.
if if you knew like me and like my situation,
But she doesn't know you. Okay? She doesn't. And the question is simple: yes. The answer is yes or no. That's it.
you
I
could. It's
understand.
kind of
First of all, Tara, first I want to say this. I picked on you because I see your name a lot in the comments. You're very positive. So I'm not trying. So I don't want you to take this as
no.
I'm being mean to you because I'm not being mean to you. I know with
I
women, whenever I have to have direct conversations with women, they be like, "Oh, Kendra, you're so mean." I'm not being mean, but one
no.
thing we not going to do, Tara, is
Mhm.
play an imagination game. The question is very clear. And the
So can
clear
I?
question, hold on, and the clear
Yes.
question I ask everybody when they have multiple children is it by the same woman, same man? You said it is by the same man. They are
Mhm.
not by the same man.
A
That's fair to
fact.
say, right?
It's a fact.
Yeah. When I think about it, I don't think that way though because the situation.
Okay. Yes or no? I understand you don't think that way, but ladies, we got to just be upfront with it. What it is what it is. Again, I am making a judgment because again, you're honest. You're on here, because you're interested in dating someone and you're saying the kind of person you want, but they're looking at the kind of person you are. Okay, and you're giving too much and not enough. Okay.
Because in my mind it's like I only have one child's father. You understand what I'm saying? So
No.
when
No.
my people ask me that question, that is the answer that I give, and then I give an explanation like I was trying to give to you.
But you didn't give
Because
the explanation when I first asked you. You just said yes,
Correct.
and somebody in the comments picked it up
I
that
had to kind of a little
so you
bit.
didn't so that's not
Okay. Stop talking. When you're speaking, when somebody you're not listening. Hello. I'm just saying. Women, we got to just a little.
true. You didn't say in the beginning they have the same dad. You didn't give the explanation. You left it at a yes, and we kept going with the conversation. So that's not true. So what you require is honesty, but you are not being honest. I don't think
I
you're being
always
honest with yourself.
story.
Huh?
When I meet an individual, whoever it may be, and I tell them, because obviously I don't introduce them to my children right away, but I do tell them about them, and I'll tell them like this is what I expect, and I know this is complicated, but this is the story, and this is the situation, and I completely spell it all out. I never leave anything.
Let me tell you why this is going to be problematic. Just with this piece right here, it's too complicated. It's too complicated and it shouldn't be complicated. Now, listen, I'm not saying in any shape, form, or fashion, whatever relationship she was in that, she talks about was abusive. Never, never. Whether it be emotional abuse or physical abuse, psychological abuse or financial abuse. Never. Whether it be man or woman. What I am saying, you got to be upfront. You got to lay it all out. You can't be hemming and hawing. Say what it is. And you don't want it don't need to be complicated because life presents complications in and of itself. When you're bringing in complications like this unnecessarily, you're not ready, sweetheart. You're not. And the person that you will attract will be the same type of dysfunction that you had before because you're not ready.
Till a mystery because I feel like that's unfair. So, whereas our few minutes on here may not explain everything, I am the type of person that always explains everything.
Let me ask you a question, Tara. Do you think there's anything you have to work on yourself?
Absolutely. I think as a human being, we always have to take every single day as learning.
Okay, listen. I could be wrong, but that was very strategic, in my opinion, what Kendra is asking her. Because it is clear to me she needs to work on being candid, meaning truthful, completely, regardless of how she interprets it. Say what it is and then explain it. Say what it actually is and then explain it if necessary. Get herself together physically and mentally. I don't care that you think that, like TJ, who are you? You're not Slim Shady. No, I'm not. But I'm not competing either. But here's the thing. Even though I'm not competing, I still try to keep it as tight as I and right as I can in my 50-plus-year-old self. And y'all, I done shared with y'all that I'm in Wonderland, meaning my weight begins with a 1 as I'm still going down. But when I met Mr. Randolph, my weight started with a 2. Okay? So I'm still trying to get it together. It's you're right. We got to work on some stuff. But even when my weight was at a 2, I didn't look. I mean, that began with the 2. I didn't look like it because one, I'm tall, but I knew. So you got to present your best self. Particularly, you're going on. I mean, just like when the lady's calling to Kevin. I mean, come on now. No, what you calling to him for? That's your business. But again, you gotta be ready when you got thousands of people watching. Come on now.
Experience. I feel like it's never too late to learn. I feel like it's never a day to stop learning. So I always think that there's something that we can improve on every single day. However, that's where I was saying earlier about me kind of trying to work on myself in the meantime and not be pressed for something, you know.
And see, when we talk about work on ourselves, what exactly are we meaning? Are we meaning just to sit and read books, or what are we actually meaning? Are we meaning that we're peeling back the layers of the onion to find out how did we get here? How did I get here? Are we working on ourselves saying, listen, yeah, I would like to be in a relationship, but maybe this is not the right time because what I'm not emotionally ready, financially ready. I need to focus on my children.
You know, if it comes, that's a wonderful thing. Love is definitely what I'm in search for, but I
So what?
want.
Okay, but you don't love yourself yet. You don't love yourself yet. And believe me, honey, I know that because I was saying I wanted love and said that I felt that I was worth it, but I really wasn't even loving myself because if I was, I wouldn't have allowed myself to pick the men I was picking and or allowing certain men to pick me. Even though I definitely had my flaws, I've shared some of them with you. But it is clear that I did not love myself based on the choices I was making. Come through.
What is, because one thing you also said is that you feel like right now you're at your best. So, what are some things you think you do have to work on?
Um, I don't know, patience a little bit. Just trying to learn me a little bit better in a general sense, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I think you're a sweet woman, but I think you have a lot of things you got to get together. And one of the things I think you need to get together is you kept saying in your mind, like
Right.
you have a
Yeah.
vision of stuff in your mind, but you also have to be honest
In
with the
reality.
person, whoever you're meeting, right? So,
We get been
Stop.
through a lot, Kendra, and
Okay,
that's why I
stop.
tell you that.
Stop talking. Stop talking. And if you've been through a lot, wait. Wait.
That it's very complication. Like it's
well,
very complicated.
Sarah, not to cut you off, but you're a fan of the show, and you know how the show works. So just being honest and fair. We're 2 years in this game, so I don't call anyone You volunteer to come on the show. By
I
this
appreciate.
moment, most people know all the questions I'm going to ask. You probably
Mhm.
even know me. You know the people in the comments and how they going to get down. So I hear what you're saying, but you came up here knowing what you're about to get into.
Oh,
And the one
absolutely.
thing we do over here is we're going to keep it as real as possible. So
Hmm.
again, I think you're a sweet woman, but I think you can't give the version of truth in your head. You have to give the reality of truth.
Hmm.
That's something that I would suggest moving forward. And I think the first, and then the more you're living in the reality of the truth that's happening in your life, it will either help you focus on changing the reality, and then you could attract the certain type of person you want to attract,
Absolutely.
or you don't change the reality and just deal with the people that you attract because of your reality.
Right.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
But
It's just Kendra. I don't ever want
Stop.
anyone to think that I'm ever telling a story. If
You
anybody ever has a
are.
question, I'm always going to be transparent, even though it may be a little bit longer of a response
But it's not
than people might
necessary.
want. So
It's
that's
not
not the case. I just been through a lot, you know.
it's not necessary. Because here's the thing. A person who's truly going to get to know you, they will find out the additional context of the circumstances. I had to do it with Mr. Randolph. Shout out to Mr. Logic. I had to come barefoot naked, meaning opened with everything I was bringing to this situation. And if he was interested and wanted to dig further, then we did. I didn't give the version that was in my head. I gave this is what it is because I everybody has issues. Everybody done been through stuff. I came to him having been scared out of my mind because of the last relationship that ended violently, not sure if I could even trust myself, believing that I had done the work, but still wasn't quite sure. Had, medical issues, financial issues, all that I put out on the table so he could decide if he wanted to deal with it or not. And he chose to deal with it. Needed more information, more context. I provided it as needed, but I came barefoot and naked, completely open. That's what you got to do, young lady or ladies. We got to do that.
Within my last relationship, I was just very committed to something I didn't know that I should have gotten away from. So with that, it just led into a lot of complications, more like a Bonnie and Clyde type of situation that was more Bonnie than Clyde, if you will. So it was like ever since then I haven't worried about
Too
myself
much.
because I don't ever want to
Too
get in a
much.
situation like that again. So that's why I said I'm not like in a rush, but if there's somebody that God sends my way, then
Look, okay, hey, I get it. But what I know now that I didn't know then, and I'm sharing this with you all, you've got to do the work before you meet him or her to recognize them when they show up. Because the devil can bring somebody your way too. That's evident in what we're hearing here, and what I've experienced. So if you're not doing the necessary work to better yourself and to truly understand and appreciate your own value so you can be of value to someone else and recognize it, it ain't gonna crack off.
that's what maybe I meant for.
got you. Let's do it, Tara. Give them your Facebook page.
Our Facebook name is my full name, Tara Alexandria Thomas. And are we doing Instagram since we're down a little bit?
I mean, you can give Instagram. I know. Hopefully, child, I'm praying for Instagram. Now, I don't know when I'm getting out of Instagram jail. I
You'll
check
get out.
every day. I've been
I
in
believe.
contact. I've been in contact with them. So let's just
Absolutely.
pray. But you're able to give both connections right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, my Facebook is Tara Alexandria Thomas, and my Instagram is TT Time 20. It's TTTIME 2022.
And
I
there
think
you have it. All right,
fine.
baby. Keep me focused. Keep me updated, baby.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Bye. Before I go any further, let me address some comments because I'm tired of it.
Uh
I'm
oh.
really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with the woman. Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male.
Mm. 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 That's what you call a grow you real moment. Okay? Let's keep going.
But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like this show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is gonna be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't gonna get a man
Uh-oh.
because you're not strong enough to woman up
Mm.
and maybe realize there's some shit you gotta get together. Okay.
Okay, that was some emphasis added. Some shit you got to get together. She ain't lying.
Okay, so I'm really done with the sensitive women that watch the show that are always complaining when I gotta give a woman real talk. And I do it in the most sensitive way as possible, if you guys ever notice. It's exhausting. It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low, this show ain't for you. Go do something else with your Saturday night, with your Friday night, with your life.
Hey.
Because I'm over it, especially when women are literally more mean than the men on my show.
Yep.
Go to the comments on my page. It is 80% women saying the negative things. I'm over that shit.
Okay, check it out. She ain't lying. It goes back to the show I did last week concerning Cam Newton and Tashina Arnold. Can't nobody correct us at all. We don't want it from the men. We don't want it from the women. We can't take no constructive redirection at all. For real? But yet we say we want this, that, and the other. But we can't take no critique. But when it comes to, but even with Tashina Arnold's comments, the bulk women going in. Now some men had some stuff to say. Mostly women. Mean as hell. But we the ones, and I say we because I used to be mean too. We the ones say we want this, that, and the other. And we can dish it out and be mean as hell and try to grow people real, set them straight, constructive redirection, constructive criticism, whatsoever it is. But we don't want none ourselves. We wrong about that. Wrong.
So if you guys can dish it, learn how to take it.
I just
and
said
it's that simple. I'm not gonna sit up here walking on eggshells, talking to women when they got crazy shit happening in their lives because you guys are so freaking sensitive. Woman up.
Uh-oh.
Maybe
Well,
it's time for you to do something in your life and kind of get your shit together. Have you ever thought of that? Absolutely. There's men up here that got crazy shit going on. I talk to them every night. But guess what? Y'all in that same pool at times, but y'all don't want to admit it. So I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel as though I'm insensitive, I'm mean, and you can't handle it, my show ain't for you, boo. Go somewhere else. I'm over it. I really am.
Yep.
Every single time. So I mean, we can just keep lying and just saying, "Oh, you know what? That sounds."
Okay, and what has the lies gotten us? What did it get me? What did the lack of being truthful with my own self about myself get me? And what was it helping me knowingly or unknowingly send the message sending to my daughter? What was that doing? I done told you what it was doing.
Sounds good. And then what's gonna happen? Ain't no change gonna happen. Cause when I do stuff, it really comes from a good place. Whether you understand that or not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you this from a good place.
I
I'm
believe it.
not a mean-hearted person. I'm really
And see, check it out. I don't really follow Kendra G like this. Every now and again, some of her stuff will pop up on my, timeline or, on Instagram. But I really don't follow her like that. But every time I've seen her do this show, she's never been nasty, never been mean spirited. So again, I ask the question, we can't take no criticism at all from nobody.
am not. But you have to give truth if you want to get results.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep beating around the bush saying the same old bullshit, you're not gonna get nowhere.
Right.
And it's because everybody just trying to be too kind. But y'all not even kind. That's what gets me. Y'all not even kind. Y'all are the meanest people in the comment section to these men on my show. But all of a sudden, when we got to talk to a woman, child, Kendra, me, I don't like watching the show. She too insensitive. Well, guess what, bitch? Don't watch it. It ain't for you. And now
I think she made it plain. She said, guess what, bitch? Kick rocks. Scram. Beat it.
that problem is solved. Because I'm going to be who I am. So that's gonna be clear. And I ain't forcing you to be here. So if you can't handle it, my show ain't for you. Next. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, she said next. So in other words, she cutting heads, chair 2 was open. Who's next? Okay. 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 Listen. We got to be real with ourselves, ladies. And here's the thing. I'm not gonna co-sign on the strength of being a woman. If we wrong, we wrong. But when we right, I'm gonna say, listen, you're right about that. We got to be real. And check it out. I know I don't have a large following. I'm like Kendra, I'm gonna be me. And if you want to be growed real, in other words, keep it one thou wow, be honest, that's what you're gonna get from TJ, Auntie TJ, Sister TJ, what's the never. So now I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it a little bit. So, because I've been one, I'm like, I don't like the way Kevin, come at these women. I don't. But now I'm saying it don't matter if you come nice or if you come hard. It's a no winner. It's a no winner. You just can't say nothing. That's unfortunate for us. It's unfortunate. So that's all I got for you. I want you to think about what I've said. I want you to think about what Kendra G is saying. And please trust and believe. I ain't gonna too much care about what you think about me. Why? I got mines. And I done learned. I done learned what I was doing wrong. I done learned, I know that's right. I done learned what I needed to do to be better. For me first. I've learned. And because I did what I needed to do to learn to be better for me first and honest with me first, it enabled me to recognize what a good man was who would be good for me. And I could be good for him. Okay? That's all I got. Okay? That's all I got. So until next time, ciao for now.